All right, Bob, I figured the best way to do this was to create a short video showing you how I take images off the internet, run them through one program to convert them, put them into the next program, and add cut lines to them. The first thing we're going to do is cruise down here to the internet. I figured one of these Ford logos was a good thing to start. We could cut out. First thing we're going to do is just find any image that we think is usable, and we're going to save it as, just call this one Ford, and save it. And there you can go ahead and close your internet browser, and we're going to open up Inkscape. For some reason it's listed over here in I. It's not on the desktop. It'll allow you to open it up right down here. Once the file opens up, we have our thing here. It should be set in a parameter so it shows you inches and everything. I tested that. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and import that image that we have for Ford. Right up here, you can see the Ford. And we'll just open that right up. This is just something you have to click on to go. I'm here. I like to just make it a little bit bigger. Check for detail, see what I can see there. See, part of that circle is cut off here. It might not be the best image to use, but we'll just continue forward with this so we can see. So we'll make this a little bit larger. Now this is still an image, and we need to convert it to a vector, and that's why we're in Inkscape. All you have to do is, once you bring an image in here, you notice here that my mouse is over the top. If you look down at the bottom, it says image 326 by 476. That's showing that it's still referred to as a picture. So if we just right click here, we can go down to trace bit mapping. We can also find it up here in path, trace bit mapping right up there. And we'll go ahead and hit trace bit mapping. It'll bring up this menu. All you got to do is hit OK with this, and this will make the file into a vector. So go ahead and close this out. Now, what it does is it lays, if you notice this top one down at the bottom, it says 123 nodes. That's how you know it's a vector now, because it's listed as nodes, not as an image. The image is still here. We move this over, and I click on this other image, the original image. You can see how it shows the image down at the bottom. We can't use that. We need to get rid of that. So we'll just highlight it and hit delete. Now we have a vector image that we're working with. That's all you need Inkscape for, is basically to do the bit mapping on this. Once you're done with that, I just go right ahead and go to Save As. And now it's going to convert whatever that image was off the internet to an SVG. And that's what we're going to need to take over to the CAD program to put cut lines on it. So we'll just call this one Ford as well, because we can, and it'll save that image. You can go ahead and close out Inkscape. I'm just gonna exit out at the top corner there. And we're gonna open our Torchmate CAD tool right up here. Just give it a second to load all the way up. Now we're gonna import. We got our Ford. We always wanna get, if you look in this file, you'll see the original Ford, and then you'll see another Ford that's saved. For some reason, it comes up as this blue circle thing. I don't really know why, but it does. We can go ahead and drop that in here. I like to make sure my wheel is locked, but we'll make it a little bigger. This is a full sheet. This is 48 by 96, so it is very large. Something that we always want to do is we want to make sure that we position this into the bottom left-hand corner. And if you look closely here, you'll notice that as I move it, it'll turn purple when that line rests right on the corner. That helps us with our good spot on our set zero point. So now that we have this, we have the image in here, it's time to just do cut lines. I mean, obviously we could size our image a little bit larger if we're doing a large sign. It does transport over from here. But for now, we'll just do a small little Ford logo that, if we zoom in, is maybe 6 inches. But there we got our Ford logo. So now what we need to do is just go up here to machine, create a tool path. Mail is usually the default setting. From here, we have our menu, and this is important. We just need to go through and check our cut lines. This is where we incorporate our feed rate in. If you look at the top, there's template, and that's where you start at. We want to make sure we click over to basic cuts, climbing, sharp, and then we put our feed rate in here. 290 is good for 16, which is kind of what we've worked with. From there, you can decide if I want to put lead ins or lead outs on it. On the next tab over, we have basic cuts and then lead in, lead out. This has create lead ins. A line is usually the better way because it goes by a line and it works off of an angle and a length. So it's a little more easy to understand than whatever arc means. But for this image, it's small, it's a little tight to detail. I don't want any cut lines, so I'll just click the box here at the top to take lead ins out. But if you ever need to add them, this is where you do it. Once I hit OK, that puts the cut lines on the image. My next step is, it's done. We just have to export it. So the next step of what I'm going to do is I go right back up here to machine and I go to output. And output brings up the image and some other information. And this is what cuts it and writes the GM code, the code that the machine uses to cut the other thing. What I do is it pops this menu up, and I learned that this thing right here, if you click on the calculator icon, it actually pulls up the G code so you can physically see it. So you know if it's spotty or not, you know if it's gonna do a fucked up cut, because you'll have all the breaks in M64, M65, M64, M65, that's firing and not firing. So once I have that code there, it looks good. I can scroll down a little bit, see everything that I have here. I can just go right up here to the top and hit cut now. And what that'll do is it'll save it as a GME file here. You can see it's saved as a GM file. And we'll just call this one forward as well. Forward there, and this will save this as a GM file. Once I have that done, I can go ahead and just close. We'll just minimize this for now, actually. So it's out of the way. It will save the GME file right to the desktop. So I'll go ahead and plug the stick in the back, and that pops up. Oh, that's the wrong one. I don't have the stick in the back. Gotta go grab the stick. We'll just bring this right over here. Pop this right in the back. That just brings up all the different codes that I've written over the last few days that I've been here. I'll just take the Ford there, drag it in, drop it, make sure it transfers over. Go ahead and close that out, pull the stick, and you're good to take it right into the machine. You know how to do the browse file and pull it right up, and it'll let you show. System's not on, I just was doing this video as an editorial.